Trump has reportedly invoked emergency powers in the war with Iran. Good morning, Lauren. What does that mean?
So the U.S. can sell weapons and missiles to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the UAE now, rather than waiting for that mandatory 30-day congressional review process. This weapons package is worth a reported $23 billion. It will ensure our Arab allies have strong defenses against Iran. As President Trump says, well, the U.S. and Israeli forces have dismantled their military structure.
It's going to be over with pretty soon. We've obliterated their Navy. We've obliterated their just about everything there is to obliterate, including leadership. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft equipment is gone. We're flying wherever we want, Pete. We have nobody even shooting at us. They have, I mean, and as you know, their leadership is gone. Their leaders are gone. They pick new leaders, they're gone. They pick new leaders, they're gone. And now they're looking for new leaders again.
So when will the war be over? Maybe when oil flows freely through the Strait of Hormuz. Axios this morning says President Trump, quote, is considering plans to occupy or blockade Iran's Kharg Island to pressure Iran to reopen the strait. And that move could put U.S. troops, A, on the ground, and B, directly in the line of fire, according to Axios. So what is Kharg Island? It's a tiny piece of land, about the third of Manhattan, but it is a cash cow for the country and a major source of revenue for the IRGC. I just spoke with an analyst. He says, you occupy Kharg, Iran will fight to the death for it. Oil will hit $200 a barrel. Meanwhile, Energy Secretary Chris Wright says the U.S. unsanctioning Iranian oil sitting on those tankers at sea will be absorbed by the market over the next month to 45 days, and it will start to arrive in 3 to 4 days.
All right, we'll take it. Thanks, Lauren. Check futures, please. I see a little bit of Reddit. Not that much. The Dow's off 100. Nasdaq's down 90. S&P is down 18 points. With us this morning to cover the market, Josh Schafer. All right, both the Dow and the Nasdaq, they are nearing correction territory. And I see JPMorgan putting out an official S&P forecast. They've lowered it. They were saying 7,500. Now they're saying 7,200. They're worried about a recession. Yeah. Are you worried about a recession?
I don't think I'm worried about a recession yet, Stu, right? And I think what's important to point out with that target, 7,200, that's still 10% higher from where we are, right? And I think once you were to start, if we were to start really talking about a recession, sort of this conflict really extending to the point that it's going to weigh on the economy to that level, we'd probably be talking about the S&P 500 going lower from here, right? You're sitting at about 6,600. So I think right now what markets are starting to price in is, okay, maybe the conflict was a little bit longer than we initially hoped, but they still see a path at the end of a light at the end of the tunnel here, right? And so I think that's an important takeaway too, is stocks probably can still go higher for the rest of the year if the conflict ends soon.
Okay, but you think we've hit bottom already?
I don't. I don't think you've hit bottom until you know that you've hit top on oil. And Lauren was just talking about a lot of other scenarios where oil could still continuously move higher, right? So I think you need a top in oil in order to have a bottom in this market. To give you sort of a technical indicator, we're watching at the Investor Circle. Our senior technical analyst is looking at 6,500 on the S&P 500, so not too much lower than here. There's a lot of support there. Maybe you get a triple bottom in the index there, and you get a bounce up. But again, Stu, I think really it's oil has been driving things. You need missiles to stop flying, right? Headlines aren't working anymore in terms of driving oil prices. You need the Strait of Hormuz to reopen, and you need missiles to stop flying.
So my best indicator is the price of oil.
Yeah.
Follow that, and you can follow the market.
Yes.
Got it. Josh, thanks very much indeed. We'll be watching you on the Barron's Roundtable. But wait, you've got to stay there. I've got one more issue for you.
Yeah, sure.
All right. A new poll, and it's from CBS. It found that 80% of voters across party lines were in favour of showing a photo ID for voting. Got it. Liz Peake is with me. What do you think to this? We could get voter ID, get it passed, if we keep mail-in balloting. That seems to be the main sticking point, mail-in balloting. If we keep it, do you think we get a deal and get voter ID?
Yeah, Stuart, I think this is one of these occasions where everybody in the country seems to want voter ID across all ages, all income groups, all races. Everybody is, and political parties. Everyone favors voter ID. So frankly, I think voters are going to be unbelievably unhappy if a Republican-led Senate and House don't actually get this done. Yes, there are problems with the bill, the Save America Act, which is there are other requirements in that act that have been added in. I frankly have always favored just putting voter ID on the table. Let Democrats vote against it if they want to. That will really lose favor with the American public, because this poll is one of many that have certified over and over again that this is something that voters want.
Yes, it really is an 80-20 issue. Simplify it and you get it done. Next one, Liz. 3 progressive Democrats, backed by the Squad, have been defeated in Illinois primary races. They all lost to moderates. What does that mean for the left wing of the Democratic Party? It's a defeat for them, isn't it?
It is absolutely a defeat for them, and really good news for the sort of common sense politics that we would like to see rule this country, Stuart. The Squad has outsized influence because it gets a lot of money from organizations like that of George Soros and others that have backed them, but they do not represent even the majority of Democrats. It's about 15% of Democrats that identify as progressive. Obviously, that's a very small part of the country. So what's really important here is going into the midterms, there are progressive candidates challenging a lot of moderate incumbents and also challenging those who would run in an open seat. So Democrats have to be pretty careful here about who they nominate, because a lot of Americans don't agree with their anti-Israel, anti-Semitic positions, not to mention their very weak positions on law and order and other issues that are really mainstream. I mean, this group, as I say, has outsized influence because they have a lot of charismatic leaders like Bernie Sanders and AOC. They do not represent, to my way of thinking, the majority of American opinion.
Oh, glad to hear it. Liz Peek, thanks very much. See you again real soon. All right. Supermicro's co-founder and 2 others have been charged with smuggling NVIDIA chips into China. Tell me more. So
the U.S. charged the co-founder of Supermicro, another employee and a contractor, with the illegal diversion of $2.5 billion of NVIDIA-powered servers to China. The indictment reveals this complicated web through which our high-end technology gets in China's hands. The trio are said to have sold the servers from Supermicro's plant in Taiwan to a Southeast Asian company who repackaged them for China. While Washington has blocked Beijing from importing these such high-end chips, this describes one way China is getting them. The Department of Justice arrested 2 of the defendants. The third remains a fugitive. The company is not named in the indictment, but Supermicro says, quote, the conduct by these individuals alleged in the indictment is a contravention of the company's policies and compliance protocols, including efforts to circumvent applicable export control laws and regulations. It placed the 2 workers on leave. It fired the contractor. If you look at shares of Supermicro in the pre-market, they are plummeting.
Down 26%.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, what does that tell you about NVIDIA's chips? They're good, aren't they?
pretty good chips, right? If people are going through that effort to smuggle them into areas and want to use them, right? I think it is sort of a take on NVIDIA there. But on Supermicro, I mean, I don't think this is super shocking coming from this company. Remember, this company was accused of sending technology to Russia during the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. There was a short report on Supermicro that came out in 2024 that accused them of accounting fraud. Their accounting firm actually left, Stu, amid that scandal, right? If your accounting firm leaves a business, that's never a good sign, right? And you've seen this in shares of Supermicro over the last 2 years. It was a hot AI stock in 2024. It's down over 75% since then. We're looking at shares at, I think, $30 a share, or 22 this morning.
Yeah.
It was 120 2 years ago. Company's been under a lot of heat.
Ouch. Thanks for joining us, man. Always good to see you. And we will be watching you on Barron's Roundtable. It's